Hey everyone, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the OpenTTD tutorials here on OpenTTD, funnily enough. Some people might have thought this series was over, but nope, there are plenty more things that I haven't shown you yet. Just took a small break from the tutorial series because I got bitten by the OpenTTD bug again, and I wanted to play the actual game proper. So we've been doing that for a little bit. You might have been watching the new M4J network, but there are some questions that I've been getting recently that I thought would be best answered in this series rather than in the main series. One of those questions, not just asked to me, but asked on Reddit quite frequently, is about roads and how roads work and how bus stops work, truck stops, things like that. So I thought, why not restart the series with a look at how to build roads, how to build bus stops, truck stops, differences between the two types of stop. We'll come to that in a second. Waypoints, which are quite a new feature to OpenTTD JGR. Nearly tripped over my words then. Once again, don't forget this is the JGR tutorial series, not OpenTTD vanilla. So there are some things here that I might cover that don't exist in the vanilla game. So just bear that in mind. And yeah, also how I build motorways and roundabouts. So I thought I'd show off to you first an example here. So once again, we're in the new M4J network. This is the Sanley Peninsula, and you'll see here that I've got my main roads, one going this way, one going this way. Various undulation changes. We've got bridges going over. We've got tram lines running through the middle. If you want me to do a tram tutorial as well, by the way, let me know. But a lot of the principles that I'll be showing today also apply to trams. So there isn't a huge amount here there isn't a huge amount to trams, that I wouldn't show you today. But if you do want to see one, a more specialized one, then yeah, let me know. We'll see what we can do. One of the best places to show you how I do my road building is a junction like this. So you can see, in fact, there's a truck here using it for me as well, which is awesome. Where are you going, actually? Oh no, you are going the right way. I was a bit concerned then. Yeah, you're carrying engineering supplies, so you are indeed going the right way. It's quite a complicated looking junction, this, but when you break it down, you can kind of see how the directions work and things like that. So you can see how a truck will go from this middle carriageway here, up this way and onto the northbound carriageway here, or if it carries on straight and then doubles back here, how it can end up on the southbound carriageway here, or even how it can end up on this road here, or how it can end up on this road here. There are lots of different permutations and combinations that allow all of this to work. Saying that, how does it run south from here? I'm sure there's a way, I just can't remember what it is, because I'm pretty certain, or maybe I don't. I thought I had a route set up here, but maybe I don't. Maybe it's impossible to double back, but I thought I'd made it so that it was possible. Maybe this one was supposed to come over and connect. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. There might actually be a hidden... No, there isn't. Okay. That might be something I need to look at. We've also got things like motorway junctions. We have one here, and then the other thing is roundabouts, of which there is one here. This is the actual roundabout here, believe it or not. This is a slip road bypass, and then this is the main road. This is the main road. We also have a roundabout up here, which actually probably would have been a better one to show off. So yeah, there are lots of different ways to build roads in the game. You may notice also there's lots of different types of roads. That's due to a new GRF. I'll explain more about that in a second. I've just installed it into the tutorial world for us to use. But yeah, I've been building a lot of roads in the new M4J network recently. You may have seen. So, we've got sunken highways here as well. We've got roads leading to airports. There are lots and lots of different ways that you can build with roads. So I think this is a good example. There's my latest airport, by the way. If you want to check out the airport tutorial, I think it's two tutorial videos ago that we built the airport in the tutorial world, but you will see it again in a second anyway. And actually, speaking of, let's hop into the tutorial world now, and I'll show you how I build my roadways. So here we are then in the tutorial world. We are back over here at Garston Gonfing Bridge Airport, the white elephant that keeps on giving. We've also got the cruise terminal over here as well that's attached, and actually the boats here are reasonably profitable, I want to say. In that there's like 20 of them and they all seem to make money, which is kind of cool. I still don't quite know why we need... I guess because there's one every 10 minutes, we need 9 vehicles. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we're over here. We're going to ignore the airport for today. We're over here at Woofingwell City Freight Terminal. I thought this would be a good place to start showing off the different road types. And there are a few. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are part of... If I get out my new GRFs, the Timberwolf road set. If I scroll down to the bottom, there it is. There's no parameters, luckily. These are the Timberwolf road set. I don't know if these are the latest version or not, but these are the ones that, you know, I've got. I believe if you just go on here, Timberwolf, and then... According to this, I don't have the latest one. Yeah, 1.0.8. I've got 1.0.6. So, I guess I could download the latest version and upgrade. There we go. Rescan files. And there's the upgrade option. Cool. I'll be intrigued to see what this does. This isn't actually a tutorial about new GRFs. That was going to come later. But you've seen me do it now. So there we are. I don't think it's changed anything. No, they're all still the same. Maybe the textures have changed slightly, but otherwise things are the same. So what we're going to do today then is we're going to build a truck stop up here, connected to the freight terminal. We're going to build a motorway that runs, or an A road I should say, not necessarily a motorway, that runs from the north of the map here down to the south. And then somewhere, probably across the top here actually, we're going to build a full motorway. So let's start with different types of stop. If I choose the town road for a second, actually if I choose the concrete road for a second, there are technically 4 different types of stop, but they're split into 2 categories. You've got passenger, or bus station, and then you've got a lorry loading bay, but I call it a truck stop. Within each of these, you've got 2 types. You've got a through, and you've got a terminus. Now the throughs, they could just be built on roads. If I use the truck stop here as an example, let's say I wanted to build 3 of these in a line like so. So you can see here that the lorry can actually come into it from either side. Lorry, truck, they're the same thing basically. For you Americans and Europeans who don't necessarily know what the word lorry means, it's a truck. We just call them lorries over here because we like to do things differently. So these are the through truck stops. These are wow, Mark. Language is my thing, honestly. I actually did quite well at English at school. I just seem to have forgotten it since, like all the other languages that I've learned over the years. We'll come to the 2 different types of truck in a minute, but basically there's articulated and there's non-articulated, and it very much depends on the new GRF author as to which one is which, because it can vary. Now I like the idea of having this road come down here and joining up with the main A road here. So if I was to do something like this, and also something like this, and something like this, and something like this, we can now technically build this in a straight line right the way down to the end here, which is awesome. Works quite well indeed. Now, there's different types of road. As you can see, there's B road, which is what I'm actually going to upgrade this to, like so. These have speed limits attached to them, you might see. A bit like the tracks from way back when. They have maximum speeds. So in this case, you've got the unpaved track, set road. I don't know what set means in this case. I would call it cobblestone myself, but it might not be. Concrete road, town road, B road, A road, and motorway. Motorway, you'll see, hasn't got a restriction on it, but I think the highest speed in this game anyway is 70 miles an hour, which is the maximum speed on a motorway here in the UK. If it's the Autobahn, go nuts, but we don't have those over here, so you don't have to worry too much about them. Right, so we have the concrete roads here, which is what I like to use for truck stops, and I'm going to stick a waypoint right there. I'm also going to take this truck stop and move it to the end there, just so that this one here becomes the through. Now, waypoints are relatively new to OpenTTD, on roads at least. Obviously, rail and ships, they've been around for quite some time. But in terms of roads, they're relatively new. I think in the last year or so. And I keep forgetting they exist. So you might notice in the new M4J network, I've actually used a combination of waypoints and bus stops / truck stops to control speed limits. I don't have to anymore. I can just use waypoints, and it's really cool. So this is our B road, and it comes down to here. At this point here, it's going to connect up to an A road. Now this A road is going to run like this. We're also going to connect it up like that, and you can see I love the textures on this. It's so cool. And then this A road here is going to continue to run down this way to here, and it's going to run along this way for a bit, and then it's going to carry on running to the south. Now if I make it invisible here, we can just build this pretty straight. I know it's a bit boring to just have long straight roads going nowhere essentially, but you know, it saves some time for this tutorial purpose, and it just, you know, makes things a little bit easier to work with. We're going to put some tunnels in as well, because unlike rail, tunnels don't really affect roads too much. You might have noticed I've put 2 tunnels next to each other there. Kind of spoiled things a little bit, but never mind. You'll see what that's used for in a moment. And we'll just put another couple of tunnels there because I'm feeling lazy today. And we will keep building to here. We will turn this way. And then we will resume going south. Where's the south coast? Oh, we're approaching it. That's fine then. And then this will terminate at a roundabout on the south coast. Oh, that's a happy accident that worked. And you might have worked out by now, I'm going to build dual carriageway. So a dual carriageway here in the UK is not to do with the number of lanes, which I thought it was. It's to do with the number of literal carriageways. So you can see here we've got 2 separate carriageways with a gap in between, and that's what qualifies it as a dual carriageway. Even if it had a single lane in each direction, if there was a grass median between the 2 carriageways, that would make it a dual carriageway as opposed to a single carriageway. And you'll notice here the dual carriageway terminates. It becomes a single carriageway, and that's fine. We're all okay with that. Right. So over here then, we're going to have the end of our dual carriageway. And we're going to end it with a roundabout like so. This end is a bit irrelevant right now. It doesn't matter too much, although, again, by a happy little accident, I've actually managed to make this perfectly line up with this town into Barnbury. So there we go. Next on the list then is one-ways. So one-ways here, they determine whether or not vehicles can travel, funny enough, in one direction or both directions on a single road. Now, you don't have to put these on every tile. It's one thing I've learned. A long time ago I learned this, and I've known about it since then, but I still like to just do this. There's a couple of reasons why it's good to have the arrows on every tile. One is sometimes I forget what roads are supposed to be dual carriageways and motorways, and which ones are just normal roads, because sometimes you do have 2 roads running next to each other for various reasons. So this is a nice little reminder. The second is sometimes I forget to turn off the town authorities being able to, or local authorities being able to build roads. And there's nothing worse than having a fully functioning motorway get absolutely obliterated by your local authority building roads connecting to it here, there and everywhere. It's a pain in the arse. So having the one-way arrows here stops them from being able to do that. And you'll notice in a minute, I'm going to build a junction on the motorway over here. You'll notice how I build my one-way slip roads as well to connect up to the motorway. And it's also to do with the local authority. So now I've talked about it, let's actually do it. So first of all, we'll go back to A roads here. We will just fill this hole in actually. There's no reason to have it. So I want a motorway. Actually, where I am here is a pretty good spot for it, I would say. So we will go up and over like this. We'll use a concrete viaduct, that's fine. And then I'll give myself a little bit of breathing space either side, like that. Now here, we're going to have a T-junction. So it's going to go like this. This one's obviously just going to run down and connect up like so. We're then going to offset a tile. And we're going to come up and do this. This side we can just go wherever we want. So I'm going to have it immediately drop down. And then here we're going to have it come across and join up. But then again on the other side, we're going to offset it by a tile and connect it up there. So now if I was to build these, it would look something like this and like that. Now the reason I do this is because, again, it's to do with local authorities. You don't want these connected up to each other. You just want them to connect up to these roads. What was annoying me in the past, and again, if you turn off local authorities' ability to build roads, they don't do this. But what was annoying me was they would do that. And if you're building a motorway, you don't want vehicles being able to do U-turns. That's annoying. That's not what you're here for. So ultimately, I always offset them. You don't have to. Again, it's entirely up to you. If you turn off the ability for local authorities to build roads, you don't have to worry about this. But for me, at this stage, it's become a force of habit. I always forget that I've got that setting turned off now. And because of that, I just carry on building my roads offset the way I do. It's just one of those things. Now, you'll notice here, this motorway is technically sunken at this point. It's below the ground level. Again, it's up to you how you want to build your motorways, whether you want them above or below ground. I've always loved the idea of these aqueducts. There's a couple of them in the Netherlands. In fact, this one, the one I'm thinking of in the Netherlands, isn't technically an aqueduct. It's just the road goes under the water through a tunnel, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, here we're just going to build this. Oops. Actually, why didn't that do what I wanted? I guess because that's what I should have done. I think I misjudged the height there. But it's fine. We can just build this along like this. It's all good. Now, eventually, I'm going to build a coach service that's going to run between Garston and, let's say, Tenningville via all these different towns. That's how this episode's going to end, just in case you were wondering. And it's going to teach you how to set up road routes, with waypoints and all that good stuff. And again, you know, I say this in every episode. What I do here is entirely optional. You don't have to do it this way. There's no right or wrong way when it comes to doing these things. It is entirely up to you. Now, I think for this, I've got a canal here actually. So I think what I'm going to do, take this back. I'm going to build this out like so, up to there, and then I'm going to build this out so like that, and then here, I'm going to have a bridge going over this canal. So if I do that, here we're going to connect you up like so, you up like so. We're then going to build along like this. Now here, I'm tempted to elevate it a little bit more, which again might seem a bit dumb, but the plan is to take this road here from Garston and have it run into an interchange here, like so, and hopefully this will work as I see it in my head. So we're going to have a concrete bridge there, concrete bridge there. Once again, speed limits don't matter too much here. We're also going to do this. Now on this one, I know I've talked about offsetting my junctions, but this one I am not going to. I'm actually going to build them the conventional way, purely due to lack of space more than anything, to get this junction in. So if I now do this, this motorway is technically going to terminate here. Like so. I'm then going to get the B road. We're going to build a big bridge over like this. Make it out of concrete. That's fine. Here then, you can build on the ends of bridges now. Which again, I think that's a JGR exclusive. That's not something you can normally do in vanilla. And then we're going to do that. And this right now is the end of the motorway. We're then going to put the slip roads in. Which again are going to be one way. It's always helpful to get these in early. So again, you don't forget. It would be cool if you could just like click one point, click a second point, and it makes it one way automatically. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna right now do all of this as one way, and all of this is one way, and we are gonna have to remove some in a second when it comes time to place the other junctions that I haven't done yet. We're gonna build these up. Whoops. Like so. So that's the other thing. When you're doing one-way arrows like this, you have to click and drag in the direction. And if you click and drag it again, it removes them. If you click and drag in the opposite direction, you can see now they've become no entry. And you just click and drag again to remove the no entry limitation. That's something that I fall foul of a lot, especially when it comes to single tile sections. It's a bit harder to get right. I'm constantly misclicking, to be honest. That's one of my bugbears. If we open up the motorway panel again, then we can get the rest of this road in, and then we can start talking about how to route buses and things like that. So in this case, it won't really be buses, it'll be more like coaches. I think I've got the right vehicles installed. If I haven't, I will get them, because it'd be useful to have. Also here, we're just going to end this road like this, because why not? And actually, if I take this back one tile like so, there we go. We can run into town like that. Not every motorway ends at a dead end like this. There are some that do. There's some that end with roundabouts and traffic lights and things, which I thought was part of the motorway regulations that you couldn't do that, but apparently you can. Back to motorway construction here then, and we're going to add in, so again, oops, did not mean to do that. If I go to B road here, we could get a bridge across the road like so. Now for this one, I'm going to be a bit lazier with my junction design. A, because I can't be bothered building the same junction over and over again, and B, it just adds a nice bit of variety, which to be honest, I could have just used as my excuse. Now for this one then, what we're going to do is on this side, we're going to drag it across like this. We're going to remove this motorway tile like so. We're going to drag this down like this. And this is our junction on this side. For the other side, we're going to do very similar. In fact, we're basically going to do the same. We're going to do this, down, and make it connect like that. There we are. Gunt Hill City. I guess for this one we could go with a proper junction again. There was one where I was going to try and do like motorway to motorway, but I guess we've kind of done that over here, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, for this one, if we just go for B road to, let's say to there, and if we did that, and if we did that, for this one I'm just going to build a tunnel underneath like so, and then build it round, and we'll just go with the lazy idea again. Why not? And then this side will come up like this, and we'll offset it like so. Alrighty. We are connected. Every town here is connected to one another. So now we can start hooking these up. We could build a bus station connected to the airport and have it work that way. Gonfing Bridge is a little left out right now. We'll have to build a road or something to connect those two towns up. I think though I'm just going to connect it up to the railway station here, just for the benefit of saving time. Excuse me. I'm also quickly going to connect these together. So I think we've got it's Guardston, Gunthill City, Woofingwell City, Drinpool, Fedhead, and Tenningville that are all connected, which I think to me is about right. So how we're going to do this then is as follows. We're going to grab bus. Let me just pin this for a second. We're going to grab this one here, which is the through. This is also a through. For Tenningville, we're going to stick it... Oh, sorry. Got to choose the right type of road first, because apparently it's funny about that. I thought it would let me do it, but never mind. There we go. Tenningville now has a bus station. We're going to come over to Fedhead, and we're going to do something similar. For this one, though, just looking where to build it. I think there actually is a good place. And if I just do a quick bit of demolition, we have a turning circle, which actually would have been a better place to build it. So I'm going to do that quickly, and then that. Now I think I've mentioned this before, but if you click the remove tool here and click on the stop, it just removes that one tile. If you hit the bulldozer and click on that stop, it will remove all station tiles with linked to that one, basically. So you'll end up accidentally deleting everything if you're not careful. So just bear that in mind when you're removing stop tiles. Right, up here then at Gunthill City, which sounds incredibly violent, but we're going to put that one there. And then for Guardston, at the end here, we're going to put a terminus one, and we're going to connect it to the railway station. There we go. We could have technically done that up at Tenningville as well. In fact, over here at Tenningville, I am going to do one like that. I'm going to connect it to the docks here. So if I was to build it here, like so. There we are. That helps with all the connections and things like that as well. So next up on the list is building a bus depot. To be honest, I could probably build that somewhere around here just because it's open space. So if I was to grab this here, I could build it off this road here, to be honest. Just do something like this. Choose concrete because I think concrete works better for depots and things like that. There we go. Again, local authorities, you don't want these getting connected together. Hopefully they won't. I'm going to build a second row as well, just for capacity reasons. Again, if you're watching the M4J network, you'll see that a lot of my... What am I trying to say? Oh, a lot of my depots get filled up. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, next on the list is building these. This works for buses and trucks, so it's not exclusive. So if I just call this Woofingwell City Bus Depot. There we go. And then we're going to stick a waypoint at the entrance there. I'm also going to remove these two center tiles. And there we go. So the final thing then, before we can get started with planning out vehicles, is we have to place waypoints at these junctions. Now again, this is optional. You don't have to do this, but I will explain why I do this in just a second. So we don't need any on this side, that's fine. And then if we come over this way, we need a pair there, a pair there, and a pair there. There we go. Okay, this is where I find out that I've got the wrong vehicles installed. Don't appear to. If I choose passengers. Actually, no, I've got the right ones installed. Now, the bendy bus here is an articulated vehicle. So just to let you know now, I will not be able to use the bendy bus on this route. And the reason is these stops here. Terminus stops like this don't allow you to use articulated vehicles. Through stops, like the one here in Drinpool, do allow you to use articulated vehicles, and that there is the difference. Not many people fall for it, but it is a very common mistake to fall for, if that makes sense. So something to bear in mind, just to make sure that people are aware again. Articulated vehicles can only use through stops, not bay stops. And it's the same for trucks as well. It's a bit like if you have a train that's too long for a platform, basically. That's the issue here. An articulated bus won't be able to fit really in here, never mind do the maneuver required to actually be able to stop there. Okay, so I need to choose a coach. Let's go with the Plaxton Elite 12.6. That sounds like a good one to me. Now the reason I put the waypoints where I do, if I just do this quickly, there we go. So we're going to say this is service. You're going to be no loading, no unloading. And there we go. Yes, so the reason I put the waypoints like I do is sometimes it's easy to tell a vehicle to go to this waypoint and then go to this waypoint to turn off the motorway again. It's easier to do that than to click here and to click there. The reason is, in OpenTTD and Vanilla and JGR, vehicles use what's called Manhattan distance, and there's a way somewhere to show how that works, and I've forgotten where you go for it. There's a measuring tool somewhere, and I always forget where it is. Actually, is it one of these? There it is. So you can see here, if I drag this out, you've got bird fly distance 51. That's how many tiles it is to fly diagonally, basically, between these 2 points. Manhattan distance is named after Manhattan, obviously, and it's basically, if I want to get from, let's say this tile here to this tile down here, you see it's got a Manhattan distance of 8. I can't get a bus to just drive diagonally down through these tiles like I can with rail vehicles. What I have to do instead is go this way to here, then this way, then this way, and then this way. And if we add these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It adds up to 8, which is the Manhattan distance. So it's basically, you imagine it like a grid. You go down, left, down, left, down, left. Or in this case, it's down, right, down, right, down, right. That's the Manhattan distance. That's how vehicles wayfind in this game. So if I was to select Woofingwell City, and then I was to select Fedhead, you could find that a bus ends up going down this road here, and it has to turn around and come back because it doesn't go anywhere. Whereas if you set the waypoints, it finds an easier way to get between 2 points. It is optional. You don't have to do it. It's the way I choose to do it. I'm not saying it's the best way necessarily. Okay. Now that we've got that established, let's actually set up this route. So I'm going to choose these 2 waypoints here. And then I'm going to choose these 2 waypoints here. Now again, you don't have to... And actually, I might do this as a test, because if this works, then I won't have to do this all the time for the M4J network. I'm just going to say now where we turn off the motorway and see how this works. So you're going to be unload, because you're the last one there. So now we're going to go this way. We're going to come off here, and we're going to stop at Gunthill. We're then going to get back on the main road here, and we're going to head up this way to Woofingwell. Like so. We're then going to get back on the motorway here, and we're going to head to Drinpool. In fact, technically first, we're going to go Fedhead, Drinpool, Waypoint, Drinpool, Fedhead. I think it's just a little bit of variety. It really makes no difference. And then we're going to come off here, and then here we're going to head up to Tenningville Docks. And there we go. That's our order list. Done. So if I was to now go into the timetable, cannot auto separate timetable, that's fine. That's because I've got it set like that. It's because you need to auto fill it first, but we're not going to worry about that right now. For this then, for stop times, we're just going to do a minute, except for the depot here, which is going to be 15. Guardston on the way out is going to be 5. Tenningville Docks here is going to be 5. And then, where are we? Here. When it comes back, it's going to be 2. That's easy. Lock those in. Now we're going to go for speed limits. this is easy as well. So if I find the speed limit of the bus, which is 65 miles per hour. That's not the wrong thing. That's the right thing. There we go. If I just move this into the normal position that I have it in, that'll make my life a little bit easier. So for this speed limit here, we're going to control click and we're just going to select 65. I'm then, for the sake of how I like to do things, I'm going to change these ones here to 10. And at the bottom here, I'm going to change this one to 10. And that's just the speed that it will run into the depot and out of the depot at. Again, that's optional. You can set that to whatever you like. But I always like to set the maximum speed here to the vehicle's maximum speed, because it's obviously never going to be able to go faster than that. The other thing is, I don't have it anywhere else here, but I do over here. If I was to have this vehicle run into this area here and stop at one of these, which it won't do right now because it's a bus obviously, I would set the speed limit in this area as well to 10 miles per hour. But again, that's entirely optional. You don't really need to worry about that. This vehicle then is technically ready to go. There's nothing else I need to do. I can just set it on its way. Now I think in terms of everything that I wanted to do in this tutorial, we've got it covered. I've shown you how to build roads. I've shown you how to build different types of stop. And again, everything I've done here for the buses also applies to trucks. Another important thing to remember when you're planning out your vehicles is, if I just get rid of these lines, trucks can't stop at bus stops and buses can't stop at truck stops. That's another thing to remember. So if it's telling you the wrong type of vehicle, chances are you've got the wrong type of stop. The way I always remember it is buses on the left, trucks on the right. So hopefully that will stop you from building the wrong things. You've got your normal depots here. You've got your waypoints here. One other thing I haven't mentioned up to now is the road tools. It's a bit like rail. So you can see here with this one I can only build up or down. This one here I can only build left or right. I'm trying to move it up here and it's not doing anything. And then this one here allows you to build in all directions. And again, hold control and you can remove all of those. Tunnels, bridges are in the same place. This is the convert tool, so you can convert between different types of road. And then you've got the remove tool. And I think that's everything you need to know. If I have forgotten anything, or if there's anything that you know that I don't, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. I'm always looking to learn. So if you've got some useful advice, let me know. Likewise, if you've got any other subjects that you'd like to see covered in a tutorial, if you want me to cover trams, for example, let me know that down below as well. Trams are a little bit different because they're a little bit more limiting in what you can and can't do. So yeah, if you do want to see them, let me know. I'm going to watch this bus fill its timetable. You guys don't have to watch it with me. Although if we're leaving at 37, yeah, that's quite a long time actually. So I won't make you guys watch that. But yeah, we've built stops, we've built roads, the two different types of stop, the two different categories of stop, bus stop, truck stop. I've also shown you how to add waypoints, how to build motorways, how to build roundabouts, how to use the one-way tool. Another good thing with the one-way tool, if I wanted my buses to only use this street here and this street here, I can actually, oh, it won't let me do it because I don't own the road. But let's say, let's say I built another street here and I didn't want it to get used. If I just did that and that, it's connected, but it can't be used. It's a no entry. And I could do something similar. You need a tile to do it on actually, but I was about to join those two up, but I can't obviously because that would be stupid. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this tutorial, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, if you've got any subjects that you'd like to see me cover, or if there's anything that I've forgotten or missed out or got wrong, do let me know down below, or you can head over to my Discord and let me know there. That would also be helpful. Love to get more people on the Discord engaging in the chat. I've got my 10th anniversary celebrations coming up soon, and there's a few things on the Discord to do with that. So if you are watching this and you're not on my Discord, feel free to head over, join in the conversation, and if you want to ask any questions or anything to do with the 10th anniversary, then feel free. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this helpful, and of course if you're enjoying the tutorial series so far, drop those comments like I said. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Plenty more tutorials like this coming up. I've got a whole new batch of 6 that I'm working on at the moment. That might get reduced to 5 actually, but we'll see how that goes. But do let me know down below and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy your playthroughs of OpenTTD JGR patch, and until next time, I will see you soon.